Go on.
I'm gonna get, yeah.
I love when you're getting flustered.
It's a compliment. I'm still gonna, okay.
One of the things that we've enjoyed doing, by the way, this has just reminded me of it, is once we got to know Sean, we got to write Brady a little more as Sean. So the Mormon Brothers came out of Sean's own
My
backstory.
Mormon family.
Yeah, and just a lot of the things the way that Sean is funny influenced the ways that Brady is funny. And that has been a great joy, and that's something that those of you writing spec pilots, I assume many of you are probably aspiring TV writers, when you're writing spec pilots, like try dreamcast it in your head. Who do I want to play this? And then that may help that you can draw on the traits of that actor that you're thinking of, because that's one of the things that makes a character feel really rich and real.
Yeah, well, and it's also good to get into the habit of doing that, because if you do end up writing television, you won't have to write for the performers.
Right.
You write a line of dialogue and then you think, well, this person isn't good at the long, fast verbal stuff. Like, this has to be what they're strong when they use one syllable and they give an expression. As opposed to Aaron Sorkin, be more somebody the opposite of Aaron Sorkin.
Good. And do we have any kind of an idea of the date for the next season of Husbands, the next batch of the show?
I think like most TV series, look for it in the fall.
Excellent.
That's fair, but we're going to continue. We're going to be doing all the conventions, and so look for us at Comic-Con in San Diego. We're doing a lot more than y'all can make it
Chicago.
We're going to Chicago for C2E2. We're actually going to be signing in New York City next week, April 8th and 9th.
New York City!
At Midtown Comics.
Yes, Midtown Comics and at the Barnes & Noble at Columbia University. So if anybody is visiting out here from New York, come see us there. And if you're here in LA, The Grove, Tuesday night, Barnes & Noble at The Grove, April 2nd, we'll be signing the comic book.
At 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Oh, and you know who else is signing at Barnes & Noble this week? I'll tell you, Mariel Hemingway and Gwyneth Paltrow. So Barnes & Noble tweeted, they were like, come see our authors this week, Mariel Hemingway and Brad Bell and Jane Espenson and Gwyneth Paltrow. And I was like, what?
Oh, you shared a tweet.
Yes, it's weird. Yeah.
We're headlining with Gwyneth. It's a little thing.
They hang up a little banner in the store with the name on it, and then I'm told that afterwards the authors get to keep the banner. It's like, what is Barnes & Noble going to do with it? So I think we know what Brad's new duvet cover is going to do.
It's just the same as my old duvet covers.
Now imagine pillows with your face printed on them.
Yeah, different expressions, like my sleepy expression pillow. And my good morning pillow. That's normal.
Possibilities.
That's why I'm laughing, because it really is.
Well, unless there's something else you guys want to cover, are you down for opening it up to the floor for questions?
We love Q&A.
All right, let's see what's up. You with the glasses, you had your hand up.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi again.
Hi.
Hi again.
For signing my...
It's nice seeing you on the escalator.
I know that chiseled back somewhere.
That's in your bio from now on. It's right behind my name. That's what's not embarrassing.
How much of an inspiration Jane Espenson and your show has been to me. Actually inspired me to start writing my own possibly TV or film. I haven't really outlined it, but it's like about a transgender superhero kid. And
Yes.
That's great.
That's amazing. That's a great idea, and you should totally do that. And the number of ways in which that's a really good idea are manifold. Number one, you don't ever want to write a spec that's exactly like everything that's already on TV, because they can hire people who are already in the business to do that. You want the thing that's going to be the thing that makes people stand around in the hallways at CAA going like, how audacious. Nobody else has turned in anything like that. And it's about time to start breaking down that trans barrier and getting more representation on TV, and I think that's a great idea. That's great advice. Was that your question?
That is great advice. My question was, you say so much in your stories and your and sort of a commentary, but at the same time it's still a story and it's not preachy. I wanted to know how you walk the line between trying to say something about society and still telling a compelling story.
Those
Great
reinforce
question.
each other. Like, oh yeah, the question is about the blending, like having a thing to say, and also just telling an entertaining story. And I think every entertaining story should start with what's the thing we want to say. I could
Yeah. Well, I think there's two elements to creating that story, which is what is the human thing here? Like, what is the universal relationship story? You know, how does everyone relate to this? Like, this is a story about somebody who doesn't think they can do something as well as somebody else, and so they feel insignificant, or they try to do it as well and they fail, or they learn that they can, you know, like whatever that is, because everyone can relate to that at some point in some specific way or another. And then there's the more social, political statement, like this is about, whatever it might be. Everyone deserves to work in the workplace, you know, regardless of whatever. It's not a grounds for being fired. So you figure out what story brings those two things together. What are the examples and the journey that we go on and the ways that illustrate how those two things are the same story. Does that make sense?
You also wear glasses?
Thanks. Hi. Having become a fan of yours before Husbands and the work that you put on YouTube on your own channel, I'm just curious how much of Cheeks then and Cheeks now are you and how much is a character that you've created?
Questions about cheeks versus cheeks, cheeks on the internet and cheeks now.
I was more Cheeks then because I was younger, and Cheeks is sort of flippant and glib the way you are when you're young. And what's weird is like when you start making a character, the more you flesh that character out, like the more you figure out about them and the more you drill down to what their opinions are and what they like and don't like or the way they react to things, the further away you move from them. It's very weird. It's almost like writing down a description of yourself when you're 21 years old. Okay, when you're 22 years old, you're going to be still kind of like that person in a lot of ways. When you're almost 30 years old, you're going to be quite different from that person. And then when you're 50, it's like, who was that person? That was never me. So I'm slowly less and less like that, but I mean, I think that all of the elements of my personality that are sort of, fun and carefree and can afford to be, like over the top and witty are very Cheeksy. And I do like to lay in bed and drink fancy champagne. I don't think that's ever going to change.
Next to his head pillows.
Yes, you, black and white.
I'm one of your writing sprinters, Jane.
Yay!
Life on its side. I really love the fact that you do the writing sprints. And I wanted to come to panel to tell you, you got me through cancer treatment.
Oh my goodness.
Because it kept me going, because I knew I could, when you would pop up and say, hey, let's write for an hour, I didn't have a lot of energy in the middle of 6 months of chemo, and to be able to go, okay, I can focus for an hour. And it turned out to be one of the best scripts I've ever written.
Oh my
So I want to
goodness.
say thank you so much. You got me through the hardest time of my life.
That's so inspiring that you would say that. For people who don't know, I host Twitter sprints where I just go on Twitter and say, just for the next hour, we're all going to write as much and as fast as we can, and like get out any project you have and just work really hard. And it's amazing what you get done. But you're right. I also, when I start this, I sort of go like, well, it's 2 o'clock now. A minute from now, it'll be 3 o'clock, and I'll have a chunk of work done, and that hour will have gone away. And yeah, if you're trying to get through pain and stuff, that's probably, I'm impressed to hear that worked, and thank you very much.
You, sir.
Yeah, first of all, Jane and Brad, it's good to see you again. talk to you guys at the...
At the Whedon, yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see you again. Now listen, I wanted to ask, maybe I should put my glasses on. You like calling people...
It's a common factor at a convention. That wasn't an insult.
Yeah, I was wondering, I know in the show, besides being very entertaining and very humorous and everything, that there's a message in there too. And given the political atmosphere that there is out there and everything that's going on, are you going to be touching more on that or kind of addressing those issues? And how do you think you're going to do that and still keep the comedy without, kind of pounding people over the head with the message?
I don't know if you can get ever more messagey than we were in season 1. And season 1 has some of our great best jokes in it. I think there's a misperception that an agenda blunts humor. An agenda gives humor a point to make, and no joke is funny if it's not saying anything. So I think even our punniest puns are generally have a political point behind them. And I don't think it gets blunted by having a message. I don't know, Brad, you got thoughts on that? But I feel like you get funnier when you got something to say. You got passion, you got cushion of humor.
Yeah, I mean, because you can be funny on your way to the wedding, but you can be funnier if you're on the way to the first gay wedding ever, and so it's even more important because if you don't get there on time, it'll look bad, and CNN is watching, and there's all this pressure, high stakes, and it means something. I agree. I think that. Yeah, just you look at a show like Buffy or something, which monsters and vampires, and that's cool, but let's put something behind it. Let's make it allegorical. Let's make it mean something. Makes it the show that it is.
But I know, I'm starting to think about what you're... Yeah, there definitely are. We've all watched preachy shows where they stop the funny to make the point. And we don't believe in that. Yeah, we don't
On a special episode.
Yeah, exactly. No episode of Husbands is a special episode because every episode is a special episode and then it is hilarious.
Especially hilarious.
Yeah, we'll never stop and preach action.
Yeah, I don't think that, we're satire really, and I don't think that satire ever does that. That's not, you know what I mean? Does Stephen Colbert ever get serious to make his point? No, he makes his point through being completely ridiculous and humorous.
Yeah.
By getting very, very serious about his point, which is kind of hilarious.
And that's the hard part, is making all of that happen without having to get serious. I think getting serious is easy, because you just state what you think. Right?
Yeah.
And the hat.
I was curious, with your deal with the CW and everything, and Netflix just doing House of Cards as one chunk, if you're planning on releasing it that way, everything at once, or staggered, how that might change the writing process and all the implications.
I'm fairly certain we are still doing them once a week, in the same way we've been rolling them out. Netflix is kind of unique in releasing them all in one chunk. I'm sure they have their reasons for doing that. I can't wrap my head around what the benefit of that is.
And I heard him say that he's treating season like a book now, so each one's a chapter.
Right.
And then people will binge watch all the way through. I actually think they did have good results with that. Everything we've heard indicates we're going to keep doing the one a week, but they could totally look at getting on the train and go we'd rather have it come out all at once. So,
but for right now, that's not the plan.
Yeah. The once a week is kind of nice because last season we put the behind the scenes episodes in between, and that made it kind of stretched it out. This one would just be 1, 2, 3, and I think that's kind of a nice rhythm to it. Like with the 6 or 8 minutes, you get just enough to carry you through to that next week. But you get to still make a big, exciting announcement every week. What's up? What's up? Well, we kind of like that.
You, sir.
Is Alessandra going to be in the next season?
Is Alessandra going to be in the next season?
Yes, indeed. Alessandra is part of Team Husbands, and we love Haley. Yeah.
You, miss?
Hi. I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about the process of writing for a web series. I feel like we've all heard a lot.
Online sitcom.
A web sitcom, sorry. I feel like we've all heard a lot about how the writer's room works for a network show, with the oversight. How is that the same or different when you don't answer to someone like a network and when you're working on a project that you're completely have full ownership of?
Yeah, I think it's a writer's room of 2, it's me and Brad, and we don't have network executives saying, oh, wait, maybe your end of Act 2 is confusing, which actually is kind of nice. Because we get to break the story as we want to. We're relying on our own instincts about where the story should go and what we want the point of it to be. And the process is kind of the two of us, like he was talking about, he's got note cards taped up on his hotel wall, and we sat there and stared at them until they were in the right order. I don't know, what do you want, how do you see our writing process?
Yeah, it's not really any different than writing for television, except that what you write will end up on the screen. But yeah, other than that, and I think that it is helpful to not have executives saying, oh, the end is confusing, if the end is not confusing. But it is actually quite helpful to have executives saying, the end is confusing, if your end is confusing, because you might not have seen it otherwise. Was that confusing or was that clear? I need an executive to tell me. And so we try to be our own executives and make the script and then look at it objectively. And we just this week, I called Jane and I was like, this outline ain't working. I know we loved it yesterday, but here's why we don't love it today. So you go back and restructure. And it's not a sad thing. You don't get emotionally attached. Well, you might for a few minutes. It's not working. Okay, we're going to do something about it.
And we also have a little safety net that we do a table read, and we invite like esteemed comedy writers to come to our table read, and they will tell us if things are not lining up right. And they will suggest jokes. And so, just as if you were making a pilot, it's very much like that. When a pilot is written, it's usually just the writer or a writing team working alone, producing the pilot, dealing with getting notes from the network executives, then they do a table read and they bring in all their friends. They may even run a we very much treat it as you would not a regular episode of television on TV, but a pilot on TV.
You ready?
So, actually, to follow up on a previous question, do you think we'll see more of your previous persona of Cheeks maybe coming through in what you're writing now? Maybe a little more of what Cheeks himself has done to be famous in that world versus just seeing him now as a married man?
A little bit more like Cheeks knowing how to be in a domesticated situation because he's been a party kid, now a Hollywood wild child for years. Yeah,
we want to live well, I think it's often a really good idea to keep your character in the here and now moving forward. And as tempting it is to go back and tell the backstory and the origin story and everything, that you don't want a show to always be looking over its shoulder. You want a show to be looking forward. So everything Cheeks does is informed by his past, and in that context we'll learn more about his past and where he comes from. But we really want to tell stories about this marriage, first year of a marriage.
And I could definitely see Cheeks in the future at some point, maybe, if we get to really flesh out the world in the series. Not knowing what to do next. Like, okay, I'm sitting at home, folding towels, not working. What do I do? Do I make a pop record? Do I try to be an artist? Should I sell products on infomercials? Stage publicity stunts to get my name back in the papers? What is he? The papers, listen to me, I'm an agent.
This boy, Cheeks, the next big thing.
And there is a story that I think we would want to do eventually, and maybe not in this first batch of stories, but there's another sitcom trope, another staple that a lot of married comedies have done, which is that they met 20 years ago and didn't realize that their paths crossed. Paul and Jamie met at the Science Museum when they were both on the field trip when they were kids. Or maybe Cheeks and Brady, remember they realized they had a date when they were both 18 or something and they'd forgotten about it. We would eventually like to tell that story.
Flashback.
I want to see a little Cheeks.
He just said exactly what I meant. I meant a quick flashback of something to kind of flesh out.
We're sort of not leaning into flashbacks.
I don't like
right now.
flashbacks.
Okay.
Jane has thought,
Maybe there's a flashback.
Flashbacks to the 90s. We
Leave
put
the
on
flashbacks to
David
J.J.
Pat's
Abrams.
flat bracelets. And have a troll collection.
That's pretty great.
I'll have My Little Ponies, the originals. I'm a closet brony.
Brady's a brony?
Did that blow your mind? That just happened.
We can have Mackay Pfeiffer come back. He can be appropriate with me.
You in the back. Yes, you.
Okay, I want to see what happens if Cheeks and Brody have to babysit over the baby and have to play parents.
Oh. Brady faced with what will parenthood be like when they have to babysit a baby?
Husband's in the little baby.
I kind of like the way the story pitches.
Well, here's how that would go down.
Take notes.
Brady would take care of the baby.
Oh,
Brady would be an incredible...
Sorry.
She used to try to dress it up in these glammed out outfits.
I'm gonna watch this throw
Okay,
down.
right now, would you like to hear what the writer has to say?
Just tell me what the characters are doing.
Okay. Brady wants babies. Cheeks doesn't know that Brady wants babies until Brady one day says something, 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 and then when we have kids, you're kidding, right? Because I don't want children. And then, Cheeks decides like, oh, my sister or whoever needs to, she's going out of town for the week, let's babysit her, and then so of course Brady takes care of the baby. Cheeks doesn't have, anything to do with the baby, and Brady learns by the end of the week that he can't do all the things that he wants to do, like have an adult life and fun and sex, and Cheeks is rubbing it all in. So Cheeks is like, oh gosh, I'm just gonna go up to the bedroom and relax for a little bit. Oh, are you covered in vomit? That's too bad. I'll see you later. And then Brady will learn that he doesn't want kids either, and then they will never have kids.
Getting the actual end of that episode where when Brady walks away, the baby does something adorably cute and Cheeks falls for it. And yes.
Yeah, but see, babies are adorable when they're not yours.
We maybe have time for one more question. We've got to wrap this up.
But I do, while you're thinking about isn't it about time that we have to get a couple on TV that is not baby obsessed?
Yes.
Well, that's actually the reason that I'm not interested in exploring the baby route is because what they do in television today is very much use babies to distract you from the fact that these guys are gay, which means they have sex with each other.
I saw someone in the back. Teal.
Last season there was a lot of guest stars. I'm wondering if you guys have any ideas on who you maybe get jobs back?
What do you
He is my agent.
I could give you a list later. I will write it out for you.
Who should play parents? I think that'd be a good way to go.
Peter
Jensen
O'Toole.
Jensen
I want to meet the Cheeks' parents.
We love George Takei.
Oh God.
That would be awesome.
Everyone else has Asian parents and we invert it, and so Asians adopted the gay boy instead of the other way around.
Good.
Okay, we still have a little bit of time.
Okay, looks like we have one more question.
All right, you and Russ.
I loved how a lot of those guest roles were worked in as these hilarious commercials. There was the college girl pillow fight and Felicia Day with the pizza. Can we look forward to more of those potentially?
More media pops. I think we are a show that very much exists in the world of media, and their TV is on a lot, and I think you can, that's the sort of place we will go. The script's not here in the end, so I can't.
I've already had an idea for one, if that counts.
We can pull from the CW pool now. We can be like, we want that guy from Vampire Diaries.
Can we really?
Can we?
I want somebody from Vampire Diaries. I don't know, give me somebody.
What a case scene.
You sent it over shirtless. The last one you sent over was disgusting. It was
Vampire and
6% body fat.
You're just really fighting for the Arrow thing, aren't you?
Yeah, I think I said you're an Arrow. You're obsessed with Arrow.
I've never seen the show.
Me neither.
Sean Hemeon, ladies and gentlemen.
Supporting CW. I've never seen the show.
So, what page are we signing at? 887, is that right?
Yeah.
The WonderCon?
Oh, yeah, we gotta run away from
Right now, like right now. So we would love to sign your stuff. We have stuff, free stuff for you to be signed.
I'm following.
If you would like, if you have your comic books. We can answer more questions. We can totally entertain you guys and connect with you for an hour. But I think you have to get there now, right? Because you're kind of like, the music's playing.
If you don't have to come up, stop by Dark Horse Foods or prison, look for it on your way and grab a copy and buy it, because I don't think we have to sell at the thing. We just sit there with our Sharpies. So.
And where are you signing next as well? Not just today, but...
No, this is
Sunday.
Well, today, this is it. We got one more hour, you guys. We're gone.
But then Tuesday night at Barnes & Noble at the Grove.
Yes.
7 p.m.
In LA, so come see us there to 7 p.m. Good information.
Woo! Thanks, you guys.
See you next